Welcome, everyone, to this essential lecture on bug control and prevention. Imagine you are the commander of a fortress, and your primary goal is to keep tiny, relentless invaders from breaching your walls. In the world of public health, our homes and bodies are these fortresses, and blood-sucking bugs are the invaders. Today, we are going to explore the fascinating and critical strategies we use to defend ourselves, combining biology, environmental science, and even mathematics to keep these pests at bay. Building on that idea of a fortress, let us understand why this mindset is so important. We do not just want to kill the bugs that are already inside our homes. We want to make absolutely sure that no new bugs can ever cross our threshold. This requires a multi-layered defense system. By deeply understanding how these insects live, where they hide, and how they feed, we can design strategies that protect not just our physical health, but our peace of mind. It is a continuous battle of physical barricades and chemical tools. Now that we have our defensive mindset, let us look at the formal strategy we use, known as Integrated Vector Management, or IVM. In medical entomology, we cannot rely on just a single method to fight off resilient pests like triodamine bugs or bed bugs. Instead, IVM is a systematic approach that combines environmental, chemical, biological, and mechanical tactics. By layering these different methods, we can target the insect at various vulnerable stages of its life cycle, ensuring a much higher success rate than if we simply sprayed chemicals and hoped for the best. Within this integrated vector management framework, we divide our actions into two main categories: prevention and control. Prevention is all about being proactive. It means sealing cracks in walls or improving overall hygiene so that bugs are denied a place to live and breed in the first place. Control, on the other hand, is reactive. When an infestation has already breached our fortress, we must use control measures like residual insecticides or intense heat treatments to eradicate them. Together, these two pillars aim to completely break the chain of disease transmission. You might wonder why we dedicate so much time and resources to fighting these specific insects. The answer lies in their severe impact on human populations. Let us first look at kissing bugs. They are the primary vectors for Chagas disease, a potentially life-threatening illness that affects millions of people, particularly in Latin America. This disease can cause severe, long-term heart and digestive issues. If we did not have effective control methods, these bugs would multiply uncontrollably, leading to massive public health crises and completely overwhelming our healthcare systems. While kissing bugs transmit disease biologically, other pests cause harm differently. This brings us to bed bugs. They act as mechanical vectors. While they are not known to transmit infectious diseases directly through their bite, they cause intense physical suffering. Their bites lead to severe itching, allergic reactions, and secondary skin infections from scratching. Beyond the physical, they cause significant psychological trauma, including chronic insomnia and severe anxiety. Mastering prevention and control techniques for these pests is absolutely essential for safeguarding global health and improving the daily quality of life for vulnerable communities. To truly understand how effective our prevention and control methods are against these severe threats, we must turn to mathematics. Biologists and public health officials do not just guess if a treatment is working. They use population decay models. These mathematical models help us predict exactly how long it will take to eliminate an infestation. By calculating the remaining number of bugs after a certain number of treatment cycles, we can make highly informed, cost-effective decisions about how much insecticide to buy and exactly how often to apply it to achieve total eradication. This brings us to the core mathematical tool we use, the exponential decay formula. Conceptually, this formula represents a population shrinking by a specific percentage over and over again. Let us break down the symbols. N sub t is the final population of bugs remaining. N sub 0 is our starting population, before any treatment. E represents the efficacy of our treatment, which must be written as a decimal. Finally, T is the number of treatment cycles, or time intervals. Notice that if the efficacy E increases, the survival fraction drops, meaning the population decreases much faster. If E is low, you will need a much larger time, T, to reach 0. Before we move on, let us see this formula in action with a concrete example. Imagine a hotel room heavily infested with an initial population of 500 bedbugs. A pest control team applies a chemical spray that kills 80% of the population every week. We want to find out how many bugs remain after 3 weeks. First, we must convert the 80% efficacy into a decimal, giving us 0.80. We substitute our known values into the formula. Subtracting 0.80 from 1 leaves a 20% survival rate each week. Cubing 0.20 gives 0.008. Multiplying this by 500 leaves exactly 4 bedbugs. Physically, this means follow-up treatments are critical, as those 4 survivors could restart the entire infestation. That calculation we just performed highlights a crucial biological reality, the compounding effect of repeated treatments. Even with a highly effective chemical that kills 80% of the bugs, a single treatment leaves many survivors. It is the repeated application over consecutive weeks that slashes the surviving fraction again and again, driving the population towards 0. This is why pest control teams must return for follow-up visits. If those last few stragglers are ignored, they will breed and the infestation will restart. Patience and persistence are just as important as the chemicals themselves. Now let us look at a preventative, mechanical measure in a rural village fighting Chagas disease. A house has 2,000 kissing bugs in its cracked walls. The community plasters the walls, which slowly starves the bugs, giving a lower efficacy of 50% per month. We want to find the population after 4 months. We plug in 2,000 for the initial population, 0.50 for efficacy, and 4 for the months. Subtracting gives a 50% survival rate per month. Raising 0.50 to the 4th power yields 0.0625. Multiplying by 2,000 leaves 125 bugs. This shows that structural improvements take longer to work completely, proving why combining this with chemical sprays is the most effective approach. To visualize how these different strategies come together, let us examine the integrated vector management cycle shown here. In the center, we have our core goal, integrated vector management. Branching out, you see the 4 main pillars. At the top is chemical control, representing the insecticidal sprays we calculated earlier. On the right is mechanical and environmental control, like the wall plastering that starves kissing bugs. At the bottom is biological control, using natural predators. And on the left is personal protection, such as bed nets. This diagram teaches us that true eradication relies on a combined, sustained effort across all 4 of these domains. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us review our key takeaways. First, effective bug control is never just about spraying chemicals. It requires a multi-layered defense that combines proactive prevention with reactive control. Second, the integrated vector management framework is our best tool, blending chemical, mechanical, biological, and personal protection strategies. Finally, we saw how mathematical exponential decay models allow us to accurately predict eradication timelines, proving that single treatments are rarely enough. You now understand both the biology and the math needed to protect communities from devastating vectors. Great work today.